Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Sean here with Blue Ridge Silverhound, and we got an edition of the Monday Market Report, this time for the week ending October 24th, 2021. We are going to recap some of the most notable post 1900 modern graded sales of the week. And this week, we're going to be focusing on greatcollections.com, probably one of the most reliable semi high end auction service sites that you'll come across if you guys are looking to consign some of your big coins. Certainly go ahead and check them out. Ian Russell and the crew certainly runs a very, very good tight ship over there on GC, and you could just go to greatcollections.com for all of your consignment and buying needs. I buy there pretty much every week. They are my addiction, along with eBay, of course, but they have, bar none, exceeded expectations of a lot of collectors and registry set people. You're going to see registry sets come up in these Monday market reports, but the driving force for the market right now has to be some of the scarce top end type coins, anything modern that grades like mid-state 67 or higher certainly fits that mold. And then you're also going to look at things like key dates. There's going to be specific key dates that drive this market as well. So you're going to see a few of those on the list. And it just goes to show you, when it comes to finding any sort of decent key date that's not like completely circulated or worn out, there is going to be a substantial premium on these coins. Nothing is typical these days, when it comes to not only the collector's market, but also the investors out there picking up some of these key dates. You're going to buy whatever is available. And as long as there are market acceptable examples out there, the premiums will just continue to rise. I think we're seeing this as going to be kind of a normal weekly occurrence within the numismatics market. Up until, there's bound to be some sort of slowdown. There always is. Nothing is truly finite. There is no such thing as a continuous upward trend. If you're looking at a bar graph, obviously, or a line graph, which is more suitable for things like this, there's going to be peaks and valleys. Always is. But all in all, that's going to go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and jump into the list. We got 16 beautiful coins to talk about this week. As always, don't forget to like, share, or subscribe if you enjoyed today's content. Hit the dislike button if you don't at all. And I want to thank you guys for all of your support and views. Let's go ahead and jump right in. To a beautiful proof Lincoln wheat cent. This is a 1952. It's not a cameo or deep cameo. This is just your garden variety, really nice looking 52 proof. Now 1952 is quite a scarce date for proofs. There wasn't that many that were produced, somewhere around 200,000 I believe is what the mintage was for 1952. But finding examples that do exhibit some of that strong frosting or cameo contrast, that's the rarity in this particular case. But in this one, this is an NGC Proof 69 Red. It's just overall a really nice high-end coin. These coins typically are plagued with all sorts of little water spots and various types of ill type of toning stemming off of the government packaging, which seems to be, a common occurrence on these. So if you're out cherry picking these coins, make sure you're finding one that is absolutely clean. It's something that'll straight grade with no problem and at a high level. This one right here sold for $2,155. It's a beautiful, beautiful coin with a lot of promise. This is one of those key dates I was talking about. I mean, when we're talking about Lincoln cents, there's a really short handful of, or a small handful rather, of Lincoln cents that that fit that key date mold. 1914D is one of them. This was an incredibly limited coin. A lot of them were circulated during its day. And finding some that grade out really nice, where they don't look all beat up with carbon spots and all sorts of different types of damage on there, can be quite a challenge. This particular example is a PCGS AU58 Plus. It's CAC certified. It's got maybe a spot of wear on the highest points of the coin, and that's why it graded in AU58. This is also a grade that people, seem to term as an everyman coin. Okay, the 58s are everyman set type coin grades. People like to collect strictly AU 58s specifically for that purpose, and that's why it's one of those grades that have continued to gain in popularity. And in some cases, AU 58s have sold for a lot more than, say, mid-state 61s and 62s, just based off of that premise alone. This one right here sold for $4,937.49. Just an overall beautiful coin with luster, and a lot to love with this one. Speaking a lot to love, I mean, you know, there is the key date of key dates for the Lincoln Cent series, and that's the 1909S VDB Lincoln Wheat Cent. The San Francisco minted coin that you see here before you is nothing short of beautiful. It's got a wood grain toned alloy reverse. Toned alloy is not the right kind of terminology, but the wood graining on the reverse of the coin is spectacular. It does grade out at 64 brown, you know, so it has received its fair share of oxidation over the years. It's nary any sort of circulation from what I could see on the coin, and it's beautiful. I mean, if you're looking at kind of one of those budget high-end key dates, this is it right here. Now, budget is kind of a subjective word. Budget to you and I could be $10, $15, but a 1909S VDB is anything but that in all grades. This particular example sold for $2,034, whereas, you know, if you went into red browns and full reds, I mean, the prices can go up exponentially. So as far as its grade, its numerical grade, and its colors at designation, I mean, this is a good one right here. And we do have a couple just absolutely amazing Indian head cents, and I normally don't talk about these that often on the Monday market report, only because there's not a whole lot of them that come up in the market. But keep in mind, the two that we have this week are incredibly high minted coins. This 1906, for example, 96,020,530 examples were minted. That's a pretty high number for this earlier age of pennies, or coinage for that matter. This one right here, take a look at the grade, mint state 66 full red. When it comes to Indian head cents, any sort of high-end coin that you could find that'll grade out a full red is what really makes these some of the biggest chase pieces. And it really doesn't matter what the mintage is. For example, this particular coin right here, by the way, is part of the Sunset collection. They are in week number 162 of this particularly large consignment. This one right here is sold for $1,800. So it's a really nice one, high-end grade, very nice eye appeal, full red. There's a lot to love with this coin. And of course, you guys are going to love this one. 1903, another high mintage Indian head cent at 85,092,703. This coin looks pretty perfect in my eyes. It's pretty close to it. There's very little wear on this coin, if any. Nothing distracting to speak of. This one, of course, is a mid-state 67 plus full red. I believe that's a top pop for this particular date. And you know, again, with high mintage, you would think there would be more of these out there, but again, there could be a lot more browns and red browns in mint state grades, but finding full reds where it looks like it was just minted yesterday, that's where a lot of the challenge comes into this. It's also CAC certified, and this is the big one of the week. It sold for $26,437.50. In comparison, if you had a mint state 65 red brown, that's a coin that's worth around $200. So you could see just a huge disparity in pricing, just from two grade points, along with that color designation going from red to red brown. So if you're able to find one of these and cherry pick one in any capacity, whether it's a coin show or shop, or maybe you find one on eBay that someone's selling for incredibly cheap, I mean, that's a really good cherry pick, and these are coins that people would target, so make sure you look out for these. We do have a few nickels on tap. We got one of the more tough, difficult dates in the Jefferson nickel series for full strikes. This is a 1957. It's a Philadelphia struck example. It's not a perfect example by any means. Okay, luster loss is one of those things you have to contend with any of the mid to later 50s Jefferson nickels. This one is a mid-state 67 full stepper through PCGS. And again, this is a registry set coin. You wouldn't want to go out and invest in this particular coin just based off of its grade, especially if you're not participating in the registry set system. This particular coin sold for $3,543.75. The next two nickels are going to be some of the 35% silver manganese alloy coins. These are what we refer to as wartime silver nickels. What makes them different, other than their pasty white appearance, is going to be that large mint mark on the reverse above the dome on Monticello. This particular example is a 45p. It's one of the most common dates of the Silver Wartime series. This one, however, is made for a registry set. It's a mid-state 67 plus, full steps. It's pretty. It looks like it was in a roll. You could just tell from the dark rimmed edge area with a little toning that starts to seep into the actual design of the coin. So that's one of those telltale signs that this was an old roll kind of break. And you know, the coin, it certainly has just an original skin. It's got that luster that you love. This particular coin right here sold for $6,018.75. I've noticed a trend with the Silver Wartime nickels that when it gets to that higher echelon of grade, these things have been going up quite a bit. But you're seeing like little upticks, like maybe a percent here, 2 or 3% there. I mean, it's gradually built up to, you know, some pretty insane prices on this particular short series. And we also have a 42S, another wartime silver nickel. This one is a little bit tougher date. Most of the San Francisco minted coins are for this short series. Again, we have another mid-state 67 plus full steps. This is a coin that exhibits some pretty nice natural toning on both sides, both the obverse and the reverse. Have some nice original appeal to it. This one right here is sold for $4,050. And we do have a few buffaloes, and these again are not, you know, with exception of the 34 that you see here, the other two that we have on the list are a little bit more pedestrian grades, but given the fact that they're a little bit more tougher date, will kind of make it a better chase for a lot of folks rather than just focusing on the super high-end pieces. Like this 34, it's a PCGS mid-state 67 example, and it's a plus designation as well, so it's a half a point higher than all the other 67s. It's CAC certified, which it gives it that extra bit of just overall appeal to it. And this one sold for $12,375. This one more than likely is going to go into a high-end Buffalo nickel registry set. Now, if you're looking to obtain any sort of tough date or semi-key date of Buffalo nickels, keep in mind the series is white hot right now. So up and down from 1913 all the way up to 1938D, the final date of the series. It seems to me the market is quite strong. And, you know, mostly it's going to be for the more non-casual type coins. And what I mean by that is some of those dates where, you know, they can be out of reach once they reach a specific grade level. For instance, a 24S is one of the most rarest dates out of the entire series. And, you know, this was struck during a time where a lot of the coins were circulating, all right, during this Great Depression age of coinage. This one is a mid-state 64. Very few of these were ever saved in this condition, and that's why it sold for $7,650. And then finally, to kind of round out the Buffalo Nickel series this week, we have a 1918S. Now, this one is a mid-state 63, and it shows. The luster is a little bit more muted. It looks like it may have a little bit of a rub on there as far as circulation goes. There's a little bit of weakness on the obverse right around that braid that you see there in the hair. You know, so it certainly has its weak areas, but, you know, it's hard to argue. This is a tough date. Anything above an AU 55 is going to be an extreme challenge to find. But when you do, these are a blessing in disguise because they're just going to continue to go up in value. Again, the Buffalo Nickel series, along with a few of the other marquee Roaring 20s series, are going to be continuously collectible for many decades to come. This one right here is sold for $3,038.62, which is a pretty solid sale for a 63. All right, we do have a few dimes on the list, and we're going to start it off with a very cherry-pickable coin. It's a 1959 Roosevelt dime. This one is indeed a proof example. It does exhibit some pretty nice strong frosting on the obverse and the reverse, highlighted by some of those really dark black mirrored fields that you see on there. It's a really nice mix of the two. This one is a Proof 68 deep cameo through PCGS. Keep in mind, this is a coin that you could still find in a relatively inexpensive proof set. You could buy a 59 proof set that even has a Franklin half dollar for under $30 in today's market, so they're still very attainable. I don't know how long that's going to last, considering that more people are beginning to hoard some of these proof sets, so keep that in mind. If you're able to find these and you spot a few coins that have some sort of nice deep cameo frosting on it, please do save them, buy them up. They're going to be a great investment for the future. This particular coin right here sold for $1,192.50. And here's a Mercury dime. We only had the one Roosevelt, but we do have a couple Mercury dimes, and this one right here is a 44S. Now, any San Francisco minted coin of the 40s are quite tough for strike designation. A lot of them usually have flat areas on the bands and certain other areas that are the highest points of the relief of the coin. This particular example just completely knocks it out of the park on a few levels. It's a mid-state 68. It does have full split bands. You can just see the full split on that middle set of bands. That is, the main focal point of these Mercury dimes. But this one also has that extra added bonus of it featuring some really nice toning on there. Any sort of toning, again, try and tempt your desire to dip these coins. Some of you like blast white, but, are you going to dip a coin and lose many thousands of dollars in value? You might want to kind of think about it. You're better off just, selling the coin and then buying another coin that's blast white, and you'd have all extra money sitting aside. But this one right here is right nice. It's sold for $5,236.88. Now, if you just want something that looks like it came out of a roll, a really nice specimen, how about this 34D? Now, it's a little bit of a tougher date, don't get me wrong, but not completely, a rarity where you can't find them at all in raw grades or raw, ungraded condition. This one right here is a PCGS Mid-State 67 Plus, so it's got a lot of great things happening here. It's devoid of any sort of marks or nicks or anything like that. It features strong luster. It does have full split bands, and it's also CAC certified. What's also cool is you can also see a lot of the die polishing lines on there. There might have been like a clash or something on the reverse at one point. Reverse dies, that is. This one right here is sold for $3,937.50 this week. That's a beautiful coin. And the final two coins of the week are going to be quarters. We have a 53S that just screams, "Hey, look at me," and that has everything to do with the toning. This has got registry set written all over it, even though the toning exists on there, which is just a really bright goldish, greenish, yellowish. Yeah. It's even got some browns in there. It's got a really nice progression of toning. The reverse has mostly peripheral toning that is kept right on the edge of the coin, so that's quite nice. Again, toning's not for everyone, but there is a dedicated collector base of toner people that spend quite a bit of money on really nice eye-catching examples. This is one of them here. It certainly doesn't hurt that it's a mid-state 68, that's for sure. And this one sold for $6,593.62. Just a really all-around pleasing example. And then finally, it just goes to show you that finding coins doesn't have to really mean finding the highest grade possible. Okay, we've looked at the 1914D on the list that graded out AU 58 plus. We also had the 1909S VDB, that was a 64 brown, in addition to a couple Buffalo nickels, like the 24S in a mid-state 64 and the 18S in a 63. I mean, when you're looking at coins, there are a bunch of different directions that you could, go to find what you're looking for and to possibly monetize off of it. How about looking for varieties? Like this one right here, it's a 1937 doubled die obverse. This one is also FS101 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. This is one of your strongest doubled dies if you're looking for any more clarification on what this particular coin looks like up close, especially in the motto "In God We Trust." I personally invite you to check out varietyvista.com or even doubleddie.com. You could see some pretty nice close-up images by some of those main attributors on there. But this one right here, I mean, look at the grade. It's only a 64, which, when it comes to this particular coin, you cherry pick this like, they're just out of a dealer stock for maybe $25. I mean, that's kind of a big deal. This is a common date in mid-state condition if you just need one for your date set or your album set. But in this particular case, really nice variety on a, just kind of like middle of the road graded Washington quarter will net you $4,443.75. That was the final hammer sale on this particular coin. It is the big one of the week. In my estimation, in terms of cherry pick kind of potential. But yeah, this is just an overall amazing coin. Again, cherry picking is an art form. It is also a lot of education, a lot of patience built in it. There are people that are really good at it because they've mastered all of those different nuances of identifying and picking some of these coins. And that's where really kind of, the rubber meets the road in this particular instance. But you do see just the overall potential, as far as how much these can sell for, because you do have a really large collector base for varieties. But that's going to go ahead and do it. That was it. Quick and snappy, compared to any other MMR. This was one of the more quicker ones, I guess, by 2 minutes, I guess. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for all the views and support. Again, like, share, subscribe. Hit that bell for instant notifications. But Coinaholics, that's going to go ahead and do it. I wish you guys a fantastic Sunday night if you're catching this on a Sunday night. And, be safe on your Monday commute. So that's it. You guys take care, and I'll see you on the next coin video. So long.